Ladies and gentlemen, imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, staring at the waves as they rise and fall. That ocean is time, your time. And every wave that crashes on the shore is a moment you will never get back. How many waves have you watched pass by, believing there will always be more? We live in a world where we carry the weight of yesterday and the worries of tomorrow, yet we forget the most powerful truth. Life is happening right now. If you can spare me just 30 minutes of your time today, I promise you'll reclaim 10 years of your life. Why? Because most people waste a decade stuck in their past mistakes or paralyzed by the fear of an uncertain future. Regret, guilt, anger, these are chains that keep us prisoners of time long gone. We relive our failures, replay our traumas, and rehearse conversations that will never change. But let me ask you, has all this thinking ever rewritten history? Perspective is one of the most powerful tools available to us, yet it is often overlooked. It determines how we interpret our experiences, how we respond to challenges, and ultimately how we shape our future. Two people can go through the exact same situation and emerge with completely different outcomes, not because of luck, intelligence, or resources, but because of how they choose to see the situation. Think about this. Every major breakthrough in human history, from scientific discoveries to artistic masterpieces, has come from a shift in perspective. When people believed that flight was impossible, it remained a fantasy. But the Wright brothers saw the same sky, the same world, and chose to believe in a different reality. Their shift in perspective changed history. The same principle applies to our personal lives. The way we choose to perceive our struggles, failures, and setbacks determines whether we grow from them or allow them to define and limit us. Many of us view our difficulties as walls, impenetrable barriers that stop us from moving forward. We tell ourselves that life is unfair, that we were dealt a bad hand, that success is reserved for others who had more advantages. But what if we chose to see those challenges not as walls, but as doors that lead to greater wisdom, strength, and understanding? Doors that, if opened, can lead us to places we never thought we'd reach. The difference between someone who thrives despite adversity and someone who remains stuck is not intelligence, talent, or background. It is perspective. The person who sees failure as an ending will stop trying. The person who sees failure as a lesson will adjust and grow. The person who views criticism as a personal attack will retreat in fear. The person who sees it as an opportunity to improve will become unstoppable. A change in perspective can make the difference between 10 years of frustration and 10 years of growth. Imagine waking up every morning dreading the day ahead, believing that nothing will change. Now, imagine waking up with the same circumstances, but instead of focusing on what's wrong, you focus on what's possible. The circumstances are the same, but the experience of life is entirely different. One of the most liberating truths is that we have the ability to control how we see the world. We may not control every event in our lives, but we control our response. And that response, driven by perspective, shapes everything that follows. If you choose to see obstacles as stepping stones instead of roadblocks, your journey will look completely different. If you take just 30 minutes to reflect on the way you see the world, to adjust your mindset, and to shift from a place of limitation to a place of possibility, you will be reclaiming years of your life. Time that would have been spent in frustration, doubt, and regret can now be used for growth, happiness, and success. It all begins with how you choose to see the world. Holding on to the past is like carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones, each one representing regret, guilt, resentment, or pain. The longer you carry it, the more it weighs you down, slowing your progress and draining your energy. Yet, so many of us refuse to put it down. We replay past mistakes, dwell on missed opportunities, and cling to memories that no longer serve us. But what if, instead of carrying this unnecessary burden, we chose to let it go? The past is unchangeable, yet we often act as if obsessing over it will somehow rewrite history. We punish ourselves for mistakes we made years ago, even when we have already learned the lesson. We hold grudges against people who may not even remember what they did, allowing them to live rent-free in our minds. We relive painful moments as if doing so will give us closure. Yet all it does is reopen old wounds. Imagine a river flowing downstream. Water moves forward effortlessly, never turning back. If an obstacle appears, the river does not stop. It finds a way around it. Life is the same way. Time moves forward whether we choose to or not. The question is, will we flow with it, or will we anchor ourselves to the past and resist the natural course of life? Many people spend years, sometimes even decades, stuck in the past. They become prisoners of memories, held captive by something that no longer exists. The truth is, the past only has power over you if you keep feeding it with your attention. The moment you decide to release it, you reclaim your freedom. You cannot change what happened, but you can change how you move forward. Forgiveness, both for yourself and others, is one of the most powerful ways to let go of the past. Forgiveness does not mean excusing bad behavior or forgetting what happened. It means refusing to let past events control your present and future. It means choosing peace over resentment, growth over stagnation. When you forgive, you lighten your emotional load, freeing yourself from the negativity that has been holding you back. Letting go of the past does not mean denying that it happened. It means acknowledging it, learning from it, and making a conscious decision not to let it define your future. Every moment you spend dwelling on yesterday is a moment stolen from today. If you invest just 30 minutes in reflection, in consciously deciding to release what no longer serves you, you will gain back years of your life. Years that would have been lost in regret can now be used for building something new, something better. The past is a chapter that has already been written. You do not need to keep rereading it. Instead, take what you have learned, turn the page, and start writing a new story. One filled with possibility, growth, and the freedom that comes from truly living in the present. The mind is the most powerful tool you have, yet it can also be the greatest obstacle in your life. It is the lens through which you interpret the world, the engine that drives your decisions, and the foundation of your emotions. However, most people allow their minds to control them instead of the other way around. They become prisoners of negative thinking, doubt, and fear, without realizing that they have the power to train their minds to work for them, not against them. Every thought you entertain has the potential to shape your reality. If you constantly tell yourself that you are not good enough, that you will never succeed, or that life is unfair, your mind will accept these as truths. You will start seeing only evidence that supports these beliefs, and as a result, your actions will reflect them. You will hesitate to take risks, avoid opportunities, and stay stuck in a cycle of self-sabotage. But what if you flip the script? What if, instead of allowing your mind to feed you fear, you trained it to fuel you with confidence and possibility? Think of your mind as a garden. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity, that is exactly what will grow. But if you plant seeds of belief, determination, and positivity, your life will begin to reflect those qualities. The key is understanding that you are the gardener. You get to choose which thoughts take root and which ones you remove before they spread. Training your mind begins with awareness. Pay attention to the thoughts that dominate your day. How often do you criticize yourself? How frequently do you assume the worst? When you catch yourself falling into negative patterns, challenge those thoughts. Ask yourself, is this thought serving me? Is it based on fact or fear? Often, our most limiting beliefs are not based on reality, but rather on old conditioning, past failures, or other people's opinions. Once you recognize this, you can start replacing those thoughts with new, empowering ones. One of the most effective ways to train your mind is through repetition. Just as physical exercise strengthens the body, mental exercises strengthen the mind. Affirmations, visualization, and positive self-talk are not just feel-good practices, they rewire your brain. When you repeatedly tell yourself, I am capable, I am strong, I am worthy, your brain begins to accept it as truth. Over time, your actions align with this belief, and your life begins to change. Another important aspect of mental training is learning to detach from negativity. This means letting go of toxic thoughts, avoiding unnecessary drama, and not allowing small setbacks to define your journey. Life will always have challenges, but how you perceive them determines whether they break you or build you. If you take just 30 minutes to observe, challenge, and reshape your thoughts, you will unlock a new level of control over your life. A trained mind is not a slave to fear, doubt, or limitation. It is a master of possibility, growth, and success. Time is one of the most precious resources we have, yet most people take it for granted. We act as if we have an unlimited supply, postponing dreams, delaying happiness, and assuming that there will always be a later to do the things we truly desire. But the reality is that time is slipping away every second, and once it's gone, it can never be recovered. The illusion of time is one of the greatest traps that hold people back from living fully. Think about how often we say, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll pursue my passion when the time's right. We assume there will always be more opportunities, more chances to make things right, more time to chase our dreams. But how many times has tomorrow turned into next week, next month, or even years? The harsh truth is that most people wake up one day and realize that the years have passed them by, and they are still waiting for the perfect time that never came. The illusion of time convinces us that we have more of it than we actually do. We waste hours scrolling through social media, dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. We fill our days with distractions instead of purpose. If you were to calculate how much time you have spent on things that do not add value to your life, the number would likely shock you. And yet we continue to act as if we have an infinite amount of time to waste. The truth is, life is uncertain. No one knows how much time they truly have. Some people postpone happiness until retirement, only to realize they never made it that far. Others put off love, passion, or personal goals, assuming that the future will always be waiting for them. But the future is not guaranteed. Only the present moment is. So, what can we do? The first step is to recognize that time is your most valuable asset. Every day, every hour, and every moment is an opportunity to create, grow, and experience life fully. Instead of postponing happiness, start embracing it now. Instead of waiting for the perfect time to pursue your goals, start today, even if it's a small step. The second step is to be intentional with how you spend your time. Ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now contributing to the life I want? If not, it's time to reevaluate. Prioritize what truly matters. Relationships, personal growth, health, and passion. Eliminate distractions that steal your time without adding value. If you take just 30 minutes to reflect on how you are spending your time, you can reclaim years of your life. By breaking free from the illusion that time is unlimited, you can start living with urgency, purpose, and intention. The time to act is not tomorrow, it's now. Because every moment you waste waiting is a moment you can never get back. The present moment is the most powerful place you can be. Yet most people spend their lives trapped in either the past or the future. They dwell on past regrets, mistakes, and disappointments. or they anxiously anticipate what is yet to come, constantly worrying about things that may never happen. In doing so, they miss the only moment that truly matters. Now, the past cannot be changed, no matter how much you replay it in your mind. Every mistake you have made, every opportunity you have missed, and every painful experience you have endured is already written. No amount of overthinking will rewrite history. Similarly, the future is uncertain. No one can predict what tomorrow will bring. Yet so many people allow their fears of the unknown to paralyze them. They say, "I'll be happy when I achieve this goal," or "I'll finally enjoy life when I have more money, success, or stability." But this kind of thinking robs them of the joy and possibilities available to them right now. The truth is, your power lies in the present. Right now, in this very moment, you have the ability to make decisions that can change your life. You can choose to focus on what you can control rather than what you cannot. You can choose to take action instead of waiting for the perfect time. You can choose to embrace happiness rather than postponing it for some future event. The present moment is where real change happens. Think of a runner in a race. If they constantly look behind them, they will slow down. If they keep looking too far ahead, they might trip over their own feet. The only way to run effectively is to focus on each step as it happens, moving forward with full awareness of the present. Life works the same way. If you are too consumed by the past, you become stuck. If you are too obsessed with the future, you lose sight of the opportunities unfolding right now. Living in the present does not mean ignoring your past or failing to plan for the future. It means learning from the past without being controlled by it, and preparing for the future without being consumed by it. It means making conscious decisions that align with your goals, values, and happiness, instead of delaying life until some distant, perfect moment arrives. If you take just 30 minutes to practice being fully present, whether through deep breathing, gratitude, or simply focusing on what is in front of you, you will gain back years of your life. You will begin to notice the little things you once overlooked, experience joy in the moments you once rushed through, and feel a sense of peace that comes from embracing what is, rather than worrying about what was or what could be. Your life is happening now. Do not let it slip away by living in a time that no longer exists or has not yet arrived. The only way to truly reclaim your life is to start living in the present, starting this very moment. One of the most powerful realizations in life is understanding that you are in control of your happiness, success, and peace. Too often, people believe that external circumstances dictate their emotions and outcomes. They think that if they had more money, a better job, or different circumstances, they would finally be happy. But this belief places control in the hands of the outside world, rather than within themselves. The truth is, you have far more control over your life than you think. You just have to reclaim it. Many people live as if they are passengers in their own lives, letting circumstances, other people, or past experiences dictate their direction. They blame their unhappiness on their upbringing, their failures on bad luck, and their lack of progress on factors outside their control. While external forces do play a role in shaping our lives, they do not determine our ultimate destiny. What truly matters is how we respond to those circumstances. Imagine two people facing the same setback. Losing a job, for example. One person may see it as a devastating loss, believing that life is unfair and sinking into hopelessness. The other may view it as an opportunity to pursue something new, learn new skills, or even start a business. The event itself is the same, but the outcome is completely different because of how each person chooses to respond. This is the power of reclaiming control. The first step in taking control of your life is accepting full responsibility for where you are right now. This does not mean blaming yourself for every hardship you have faced, but it does mean acknowledging that you have the power to shape what happens next. You are not stuck unless you choose to be. The decisions you make today, how you think, how you act, and how you react, will determine where you end up in the future. One of the biggest myths people believe is that happiness and success are dependent on perfect conditions. They wait for the right time, the right opportunity, or the right set of circumstances before taking action. But waiting for life to change before you take control is like waiting for the ocean to be completely still before you set sail. It will never happen. The reality is the best time to take control is now, even in the midst of uncertainty. Taking control also means setting boundaries. Stop allowing toxic relationships, unnecessary negativity, or outside pressures to dictate how you feel. Protect your peace by being intentional about who and what you allow into your life. If something is draining you rather than helping you grow, it's time to let it go. If you take just 30 minutes to reflect on where you have been letting external factors control your emotions and decisions, you will regain years of your life. You will realize that happiness, success, and peace are not things you find outside yourself. They are things you create. The moment you decide to reclaim control is the moment your life begins to change. Change is one of the most difficult things for people to embrace, yet it is also the most inevitable. Life is constantly evolving, moving forward, whether we like it or not. Despite this, many people resist change, clinging to what is familiar. Even when it no longer serves them, they fear the unknown, afraid of failure, discomfort, or losing what they already have. But the truth is, resisting change does not stop it from happening. It only makes the process more difficult. The moment you stop fearing change and start embracing it, you reclaim years of your life that would otherwise be lost to worry, hesitation, and regret. Many people wish for a better life, but are unwilling to step outside their comfort zones to create it. They desire success, but fear the risks that come with it. They want love, but avoid vulnerability. They dream of a different future, but are unwilling to let go of the past. But growth and change go hand in hand. You cannot become someone new while holding on to who you used to be. The caterpillar does not become a butterfly by resisting transformation. It surrenders to the process, trusting that something greater is on the other side. Fear is the biggest reason people resist change, the fear of failure, of judgment, of the unknown. But what most people fail to realize is that staying the same is also a risk. A life spent avoiding change is a life spent standing still, and stagnation is one of the greatest thieves of time. The longer you resist change, the longer you delay your own progress, happiness, and potential. Think about the people you admire, those who have achieved great success, found deep fulfillment, or created lives of purpose. Every single one of them had to embrace change to get there. They had to leave behind old habits, step into unfamiliar situations, and push through discomfort. They had to trust that growth was worth the temporary uncertainty, and because they did, they now live lives that others only dream of. Change does not always come easily. It can be uncomfortable, unpredictable, and even painful at times. But discomfort is a sign of growth. The moments in life that challenge you the most are often the ones that shape you into the person you are meant to become. Instead of fearing change, start asking yourself, what if this change is exactly what I need? What if this challenge is leading me to something greater? If you take just 30 minutes to reflect on the changes you have been resisting, you will unlock years of potential that have been trapped in fear. You will realize that change is not your enemy. It is your greatest opportunity. The life you want, the happiness you seek, and the success you dream of are all waiting on the other side of fear. And the only way to reach them is to embrace change rather than run from it.